reasons, sleepy, yes, from Sharon. One of the, obviously it's a good time to do this just because timing wise, some of you might be at work, that you need to get to work. So that's one reason why we're doing it at this time, but also early morning when the sun, around sunrise, well, sunrise and sunset, when we're at that those polarities of the day, when nights become day or days become night. That's when prana is at its most, most sort of, most tactile. There's more prana.
Recording in progress.
More prana moving through the earth at that time. So, you can feel it. You can sense that, nature coming alive at sunrise or sunset. I'm just going to mute Heather. There we go. Lucy, yes.
No, I just was going to ask other people to mute. It was just noise coming.
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah. So a nice time to be practicing pranayama, particularly in sunrise sort of time, around sunrise or thereabouts. There is an abundance of prana moving through the earth. And we're probably next week, or maybe Friday this week, I'll see how we go, but once we start practicing the faster rhythms, the idea with the faster rhythms is that we have an empty stomach. So also practicing first thing in the morning is really useful for that reason, because we kind of work on like pumping the belly and doing all these things like bandhas and whatnot, these kind of locks that we create. And so these are most useful on an empty stomach. So first thing in the morning, before eating, when the prana is moving through the air, best time to practice our pranayama. So on that note, let's start practicing. While I'm just going to talk you through what we're going to focus a bit on today, but while I do that, just come into your full yoga breath, maybe, if you could. So maybe I'll just guide you through the full yoga breath first, and then use that as you go to while I talk about the rest of the plan. So remember, we breathe deeply first into the belly. So if you could, a count of 7, where you breathe into the belly for 4, then expand through the chest for 2, and then top it up to the top of the lungs around the collarbones for that 1 count, that 7th count. So it's belly, 2, 3, 4, chest and top of the lungs, and then you exhale, belly, 2, 3, 4, chest and top of the lungs. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And keep working that in your own time, maximizing your intake of prana, of oxygen of course as well, but the oxygen essentially, or the prana rides the oxygen. It's just the energetic aspect of the air, you could say, that we inhale. And then that there is our full yoga breath, which ideally, at least the abdominal part of that becomes our kind of go-to breath to enhance lung capacity and get that parasympathetic nervous system going on a regular level to keep us in a more relaxed, chill state. And great also just when we are slightly wired or stressed, just bringing that breath in. I think Karen actually mentioned that that you have a little bit of trouble sometimes getting to sleep, and worked that rhythm before bed and helped to get to sleep. So yeah, that's a wonderful good news, and that's a great technique to use when we're struggling to sleep. That's what happens to me when my mind's on overload and I'm struggling to sleep. Then I just like, okay, focus on that full yoga breath, and that helps me drop in. One technique is, if you're really struggling with that, one technique we learnt back at Gita times. Gita's where I did my initial teacher training, which Heather on the panel here has been a part of as well. But one of the Gita techniques was, if you're really struggling to sleep, actually then pop off your bed onto the hard floor, lie on the hard floor, and do 10 full yoga breaths on the hard floor, and then kind of roll back into bed and do another 10, and then usually by the 10th you'll be asleep. So there's a technique for us to try if we need to. But today I'd like to explore Nadi Shodana. Nadi Shodana is the alternate nostril breath. So some of you, I'm sure, know this, have practiced it, and maybe it's new for some. But this is a really important pranayama. It's probably, my teacher Clive says it's kind of like, apart from the full yoga breath, obviously, it's the most important one for various reasons. But Nadi Shodana, alternate nostril breath, is when we alternate slight pressure over each nostril. So you're breathing in one nostril, out the other, then in that one and out the other one again. And there's various reasons why we do this. I mean, on a basic level, it's just helping to clear the nostrils. But what we often find is that one nostril is actually more dominant than the other. So one is a little bit more blocked than the other. And each nostril relates to a different polarity. So we talk about in yoga the nadis, the channels or meridians, you could say, and pranayama is working to clear and boost and enhance these energy channels. And Nadi Shodana, there's something like 72,000 channels working through our system, but we focus really on three main ones: the central channel, Shushumna, which runs through the spine, that's where all the chakras are laid upon, and then Ida and Pingala, and these are the sun and the moon channels, and these are the ones that spiral through the chakras, and those channels represent the two polarities within us. So Ida is the moon channel and Pingala is the sun channel. So sun and moon channels, moon and sun, and you could say also like yin and yang, all the various representations of polarity within us, male, female. So the nostrils themselves stimulate and activate the two different channels. Now, our left nostril and our whole left side of the body represents the moon channel. So that's the female aspect of us, the yin part, let's say. And the right nostril and the right side of the body represents the sun channel, the active, the male, the sun. And with the brain, things switch to the other side for some reason. So the right side of the brain is actually the passive moon side, and the left side of the brain is the active sun side. And we know that even just through science, the different parts of the brain have those different types of activity. So the left side is the more organizational sort of department, and the right side's the more creative department of the brain. So when we breathe through the left nostril, which is the left side of the body, the moon side, activates it sort of activates the right side of the brain, and vice versa for the other side. So on one level, when we're doing that alternate nostril breath, we're activating the two hemispheres of the brain and bringing them into alignment. So usually we're focusing on one hemisphere rather than the other. By working the alternate nostril breath, it's helping to try and balance the two hemispheres of the brain. So balancing the two hemispheres of the brain, but also just balancing the polarity within us, and those spiraling nadis, Ida and Pingala, are also coming into some kind of balance through this practice. So for one of the ultimate goals of yoga, which is awakening Kundalini energy, this is vital. This is the most important thing you could do, because for Kundalini to actually fully awaken, it needs to move through all the chakras up through the central channel. First of all, the Ida and Pingala need to be in unison, in complete balance. So, whether that's an ambition or not doesn't really matter, because just the pure fact that it helps to balance those polarities, balance the hemispheres of the brain, it brings us into a beautiful Zen state. So we can just think of that as our sort of goal, to be a little more Zen. Or maybe you have those ambitions of Kundalini, or awakening deeper energy within us, deeper Shakti power. So yeah, for that reason, my teacher Clive always said, if nothing else, Nadi Shodana every day. Nadi Shodana is what it's called. Nadis are the channels, and Shodana is the clearing or the cleansing of those channels. So the technique is basically you use your thumb and your ring finger to alternate the pressure, just a gentle pressure over the nostrils. Middle and index finger usually resting on the forehead. Most people find that most comfortable. The other option is to rest it in the palm of the hand. That's called the Vishnu Mudra, and you could work it that way as well. So either fingers on the forehead or in the palm of the hand, but you use your ring finger together with the little finger to make one unit, and the thumb is the other one. And so that way we can inhale through one nostril, out the other one, then in that one, and out the other one. It's good to maybe visualize that you're creating like a spiral, or like a loop really around the third eye. And it's a real kind of third eye focusing. I mean, it works all the chakras really, because then the idea is that those channels spiral down. So the nostrils is a entry point into those channels, and then they spiral down and help to regulate all the chakras. But third eye particularly, because we're breathing right into that space. And so so we can ascertain, okay, where are we most dominant right now? For me right now, my right nostril's a little more blocked. My left nostril's a bit more open. So that means I'm more in my creative mind, creative side. I'm in my moon channel. You might be the same for you, might be the other way. The idea is that throughout the day, these polarities switch, and usually every 1.5 hours, you'll switch from one side to the other. So it's also a good thing just to check in throughout the day. Where is my dominance? So am I more in my left brain, or am I more in my right brain at this point in time? And, rather than fight the natural flow of where you're in, go with the flow of where you're in. So if you're more in your creative brain, do something creative. If you're more in your active brain, do something active, do something logical, do your tax returns or whatever, needs to be done. So, it's an interesting observation to make. So, maybe play around with that during the day, to see if you can check in how that dominance changes throughout the day. And then the other thing just to consider is that if you're really really blocked, which happens, one nostril really more blocked than the other, then it's where the Ujjayi breath, Ujjayi breath is really useful regardless in this technique, but just using the Ujjayi can help sometimes to get through those stubborn blockages. So instead of snorting the breath in, you you use your throat to create the action of drawing the breath in, and that can sometimes bypass those stubborn blockages. But it's all relevant. Sometimes the blockage is really strong, and if it's super strong that you can't get the breath through, then just visualize it. Just imagine the breath going through, and maybe you need to sneak it through the other nostril. But energetically, you might still be working it that way, or maybe it's just not time for Nadi Shodana if it's too blocked. Other thing to consider is the arm can get tired when we're working this for a while, so you can always sort of support the arm with the other hand if it starts to get tired, or you just switch sides, but rather than kind of slump down and rest your elbow on your knee or something, always keeping the spine nice and upright is key. Spine nice and straight, so that we can keep that energy flowing essentially. So let's just quickly readdress a couple of the rhythms we did last week. So starting with your Ujjayi breath. So just close the eyes and allow yourself to breathe in Ujjayi. So that's where we constrict the throat slightly. And then see if we can work a count together for our Ujjayi for now. So we'll work our magic count of 7. So breathing together, release your current breath. And breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in, and keep going in your own time. So maintaining our Ujjayi as our foundation, let's say, for the next couple of rhythms. We'll move into our Viloma rhythm next. So keep working your Ujjayi for now in your own time. So just a reminder, Viloma rhythm is when we stagger the inhale into 3 sections. And so the rhythm will go in for 3, hold for 3, in for 3, hold for 3, in for 3, hold for 5, and then slowly out for 10. That's our ideal rhythm with the Viloma. So we'll just do a couple of rounds of Viloma rhythm, and then we'll move into our Nadi Shodana. So releasing your current breath, and breathing in, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In, 2, 3, hold 2, 3, in 2, 3, hold 2, 3, in 2, 3, hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once more, in 2, 3, hold 2, 3, in 2, 3, hold 2, 3, in 2, 3, hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back to just a regular Ujjayi. And then in a moment we'll move into our Nadi Shodana. We have a few minutes left, so we're going to focus on that for the last remainder of our time. So just doing your best to try to keep up the rhythm for the time I suggest. I mean, like anything, of course, if it gets too much, then just let it go and just meditate, and maybe focus on the third eye as your meditation, as that's where we're stimulating mostly. But yeah, try to keep it going if you can. So sitting nice and upright. Usually they say use your right hand to work it, but it doesn't matter if you more left-hander. I'm a left-hander, but for me it's more, I get a sore right shoulder, so using my right hand is not sustainable for me. But right hand if you can, left hand if you prefer. We'll work again to a count of 7 for a few rounds, me guiding you, and then you work it on your own, finding your count. So if you want to make the count longer, you can. Make the count shorter, you can. Find what works for you. So sitting tall, pressure over your right nostril, just clear the left nostril, and then begin with an in through the left, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and out the right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale left. So keep working in your own time now for a few more minutes. And just finding the count that feels right for you. If there's a fair resistance through one nostril, then using that Ujjayi technique to help power the inhalation through the throat rather than the nostril itself. as you're working the rhythm, check in with your posture. Aim to maintain an upright spine, shoulders roll back. The last few rounds of your Nadi Shodana, maybe see if you can just intuit the rhythm rather than count anymore. And then after completing the next round, which always means to exhale through the left nostril, just gently releasing the technique. Keep the eyes closed and keep a gentle focus on your third eye point. So friends often ask how long, how much time should we spend on our rhythms, on, let's say, on this one here, on Nadi Shodana. So right there we worked around about 5 minutes on it. And for some of you that might have felt like a long time, and some of you maybe not. So I think that's just a good amount of time to start with, and if we could build it up to 10 minutes, I think it's wonderful. But you know, any amount of time is useful, so it's all relative to what time feels right or what time you give yourself. But then when you incorporate all the rhythms together as a practice, the idea is to, have, I would say, a minimum of 10 minutes in the morning, anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. My personal practice is usually around about 40 minutes or thereabouts, 40 minutes and then some time in meditation. So I generally try to have an hour all up, but sometimes it's less time, sometimes it's more. But when we're starting out, I think even just getting a 10 to 20 minute practice is enough to begin with, is a good start. So, hands in prayer, namaste, thank you all very much. There's 8 o'clock crept up on us, and look forward to seeing you all on Friday. And any questions, feel free to ask, otherwise see you Friday.
Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fiona.
That's everyone. Thank you, Nikki.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Heather. Enjoy your day.